It's very disappointing. I'd like to see at least some cock
say
and
no more,
balls.
Kyle. I'm on it.
I've got enough years on my phone. I went to clean out my phone the other day, and there's so much Woody vascularity in there. He's just popping around every corner as I'm going through my phone warned me. It's like you've got 95 megabits left or something
of Woody shirtless.
We got to get in here and clear.
Well,
some shit.
I've been on a cut, so people start sending
fill her up.
Proud of yourself.
Hang on. I'm getting a new phone. For some reason, the S23 is really cheap. It seems like a good phone to me. It seems like an $800-900 phone, but I think I got it.
How much is it?
I think it's like I think they're like $800 or $900, but I got it for like a couple hundred via my my carrier, I guess.
Does that have the pin? It doesn't have the pin, right? It's just the brand new S23. Is it the Ultra or just regular?
I think it's just the regular. I think it is the regular.
Oh wow!
But
I'm sorry. I just googled the phone, and
it's a big upgrade for me because I got like a Pixel 5. I don't know what this is. It's like a 3-year-old phone though.
It says $1,000 for the regular one on just quick Google.
Yeah, I'm excited. I got the green one, so it's going to be fun to have a new fancy phone with a bunch of features. I'm going to take a lot of dog pictures. Again, I don't know what the fuck this is, but I can't remember. I just remember I got the one that had the best battery life. It's a Motorola something, and it's so heavy, but it's got a 2-day battery.
Who will you be giving the new phone to? ATF, DEA?
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. Oh, jeez. I literally like when
FBI. You want to change it up a little bit?
I literally said that at the time. I was like, the last nice phone I had was the S8 Edge. You ever see one of those? It was amazing at the time. I think at the time it was like it had maybe it had an 8K screen. It had something like cutting edge.
The nicest phone in the evidence locker.
It was the nicest phone they locked me up like 3 weeks after I bought that fucking phone cash. It was so nice. The gimmick on that one is that there's no bezel. The screen just goes to the edge and wraps over. And it's I don't know, it feels nice, it's nifty.
Did you have a case on it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I generally don't use cases. This one's broken right now, which is why I'm replacing it.
The one they took
fucking knocked it down.
Are you ever going to get it back? Like, what happens to the stuff if they take stuff from you? You can't ever you can't petition to be like, hey, can I get that back at least? Or are they just like, this is ours, and we'll talk to you?
I think because it was evidence of because that was the phone where I had texted my girlfriend and been like, hey, you want to smoke some weed tonight or something like that one time, and so they just keep that bitch forever. And I got a bunch of my other shit back, like my PCs, and they took my Garmin. Like the way those warrants work, it's like anything that turns on, they're getting shit that doesn't have any connectivity. They're just getting little devices and shit, like anything. Like that's a vape. That's a vape pen. What are you taking? Anything that turns on, they'll
gonna write them on your behalf. Like, hey, the FBI. I have a lot of pictures of my shirtless friend. They mean a lot to me. Can I have a copy?
I had
hey, FBI. I just wanted to put myself on your radar real quick.
because I made so many videos. One of the things that I would do, I would get somewhere to film, and I'd be like, oh, "Fuck, we didn't bring any memory cards." Go to Walmart and buy 3 memory cards, and so I ended up with a plethora of memory cards, everything from 8 gigs up to like 64 gigs, and I mean like a double handful of them over the years. Each one of those individually bagged, labeled, zip tied up, and then placed into a bigger thing. So when you get your shit back, it's like, where did y'all take? Because they made this many memory cards look like a filing cabinet full of evidence.
So they just had to sit there and watch your videos. They had to sit there and be like, I bet one guy was like, man, this is a sweet job.
We're gonna leave this guy alone.
These are
Come
good
on.
videos.
Is that a tank? No, and a lot of it was like the B-roll stuff. Like you would take a GoPro with a magnet on it, stick it on the barrel of a tank, turn it on, and let it roll for 3 hours.
Stupid question, Kyle. Have you ever been in a tank? And I ask because I can't tell the difference between a tank and all the things that look like tanks.
Yeah, I have. I think the Bradley. Right?
The
Sherman. No, Sherman. The World War II Sherman tank with might be a 37 millimeter cannon on it. I've been in one of those with the working cannon and shot the cannon and driven over a Jeep, and that was the time when it was like a collector's item. Like obviously these things are rare because they're World War II tanks, but this one's like dressy. Like the stars are painted right. The fenders on these things, you might think, oh, it's a tank. I bet it's tough. Well, the fenders are just like car fenders. The part that like sticks out on the edges. And the guy who owned it was this big bellied guy over there with overalls, arms crossed. I don't know what they told him to let me in this thing. You know, who knows what lies he'd been told, but because there was like a middleman between me and him anyway. And I'm filming with a reenacting crew. These aren't, it's not just a guy. That's Mo. He drives it. It's like, no, that's fucking Gunnery Sergeant Pete Townsend of the 44th Brigade. And like, they're all wearing the exact shit. It looks like Fury. There's pictures of it. I'm sure on my social media somewhere. It's like Fury. They're all in their gear with their helmets and everything. And I'm in that thing, and we're supposed to drive over the edge of this Jeep Grand Cherokee that I've procured for $800. And I want to crush the motherfucker, right? But they're like, slowly go up to it, push up onto it, and then back off. And I'm talking to homeboy that's driving it. I'm next to him. And, you know, he's got his gear on and everything. And I'm like, this is exactly how it would have been, you know? And rolling through the streets of some French town. Look how hard he hit this motherfucker. He hit it full fucking speed. He didn't slow down
ease onto it.
I hyped him up and he crushed it. You know, it's a tank, so like a couple miles per hour.
Okay.
In reality, like jogging speed maybe, but it's a tank, so it like and I don't know if you can tell from this angle, but that front fender thing there is fucked up on the other side. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's what am I holding there? Oh, I'm holding. See, I've got two rounds there. The one on my left is like a solid lead projectile, and the one on the right hand is my right hand. Your like camera left is like a shot shell, which turned out to be completely ineffective even at close range. Just nonsense.
But what does that mean? Like it was a tank shot?
I think it was a round. Yeah. I think it was supposed to shoot a bunch of balls or something. But we shot it, and like I don't think we made contact with the target. We saw a little dust downrange where it like hit the ground a few spots, and it was like that would have scared some folks, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
How many times did you shoot it?
I honestly don't remember. We probably had a dozen rounds or something like that. I'm sure. Those you could. They're just loading those.
What was it like to get the rounds? How did you procure them? Or did the guy?
Yeah. Bring? So if the guys who own tanks, artillery pieces, things like that still fire, they load their own ammunition. So they have enormous loading dies, kegs of powder, like out of like video games, you know, the exploding barrels. They've got those. And they'll make their own projectiles, form them out of liquid lead, and make their own bullets. Cause obviously you can't go, get those old rounds anymore. And it requires some special licensing. Like first you've got to have a tank, which is really just a road vehicle in the end. A lot of them have plates on them so you can drive them somewhere. We did that a couple times. But then getting the breech to be live, I think it requires a Type 10, which is very high level. You're able to manufacture destructive devices and make that breech live. And then you just need rounds for it. Like I said, that's kind of a small cannon. I think that's 37 millimeter, if I remember correctly. It's been a while. But I shot a tank destroyer one time, and that thing was like, the bullet was big. Like it wasn't like something you'd hold in your hand. It was like something you support with both hands, like a goddamn child. It's like, this is the fucking bullet that goes in this fucking Hellcat tank destroyer thing. That thing was different.
That was like, was it open top?
That was also like it's called a tank destroyer, but to my eyes, it's like, what's the fucking difference? It's a tank. We're down in this thing with the, you're in it. That one was a lot cooler. That was a more modern piece, like maybe Korea or Vietnam. I'm just guessing. I don't know shit about tanks. That was when we nearly killed Jeremy, because Jeremy was hanging out the top of the tank recording, and I was shooting a plywood hut that we had put a trash bag full of tannerite in. I don't know how much. We just filled a trash bag, like a big, like black trash bag.
How did you shake it? Did you just shake it in the bag?
Wow.
Yeah. And then we like tied a knot in the top, tied a rope to that, held it in the center in the air inside of a plywood hut that was like 2x4s around the corners, begged the crowd to back up, and they refused. And so I got in that son of a bitch and like let her rip, and shit went everywhere. Pieces of 2x4s that like a tornado had like torn them asunder and made them into like lethal splinters that would just right past us. Like I'm down in a tank. I don't give a shit. I've warned everyone.
I'm not sure you wouldn't be liable. Like,
Not my
Hey
tank,
guys,
not
I'm
my
shooting
land.
toward you.
How many people were
Move.
there? Like
They didn't
watching?
move. Not my
15,
fault.
20 at least. 15,
How
20 at
close
least.
were they? When
Probably
you're like
30
back up?
yards behind me.
Yeah.
And like up on a ridge, like they were in the blast zone. Like the shit went up there to where they were. They refused. I begged and begged, and I'm like, I'm filming here. They like, we're on public land. This ain't my tank. Like, y'all need to leave. I'm about to blow this shit up. And they were like, let her in. You know,
It's pretty dope.
usually tried to not have a fucking studio audience for things like that. But I think that the guy that owned the tank like brought all of his buddies to see the show.
What Russian tanks have you been in? The ones with the glowing.
I don't know what it's called. But it's I drove it through this guy's house in Texas. He wanted his house destroyed because he was building a bigger, fancier mansion, and he also owns the APC or whatever it is. It has a cannon, but it's non-operational, or at least it was at the time. They hadn't gone through the paperwork and everything of making it fire. But the gauges in that thing were radium. I think the gimmick we did there was I drove through the house at like full speed, and then at one point I parked in the house, and then we were trying to blow the house down onto me, so we set charges all in the house and like blew the house down. Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
See, that's a good shot from the drone there. That's Richard Ryan's work. Richard was on the drone. Yeah, Richard Ryan's on the drone there.
Why is there explosion coming out of the roof like that?
Because we set the charges on the second floor.
Okay.
There's 3 charges on the second floor. Those charges are I don't know the exact mixture, but it's there's some plastic explosive and I think it's all plastic. It's mostly plastic explosive, but it's against water barrels, and it's hyper pressurizing that water and creating those jets that you're seeing blow everything out. So everywhere you see like a cloud of vapor, that's the water being used to send everything flying. It's a lot safer than the alternative, which would
I didn't realize it was on a river when I saw the video.
Oh, that's a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a nice place.
There's a sick pool in the back.